Hey, good morning. This is Elisha Shaw. I want to cover the Bearman versus the University of Notre Dame. Okay. It pretty much was it was a situation where the Bearmans attended a Notre Dame football game. They were invited for a business event. Okay. While they were attending that football game, they decided to leave early. Okay. Upon their exit, there were two men having an argument. Well, those two men, moments later, had an altercation and fell into Mrs. Berman. All right, when they fell into Mrs. Berman, she broke her leg. Okay, Mrs. and Mr. Berman later on, all right, filed a lawsuit against the University of Notre Dame. Okay, the basis of the lawsuit was pretty much that you know was holding Notre Dame accountable to just providing reasonable security to get the Bermans to the car. Okay, well, Notre Dame is saying that although they invited them to the game, they cannot be liable for a third party incident. Okay, so in court, it came down to, okay, the holding accountable Notre Dame to seeing if they're liable for providing certain measures of protections for the Burmans to get to and fro from the game. Okay, and it boiled down to that Notre Dame did not. Okay, Notre Dame is not responsible, all right, for protecting the Burmans from third party incidents. Now, when you apply this case into risk management, all right, risk management is one of those things where you pretty much try to categorize all of the 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 risks and the frequencies and severities of it. All right, and how much does it happen? Okay, so you can just try to prevent those different things. Now, looking into it, okay, we all know it's going to be extremely hard to take all risks out of athletic events. Maybe what it got to do with fans, or just even taking all of the risks from the physical activities. All right, we all know the game is very physical and the game is very exciting. Okay, so both parts things can happen. Now, when it comes to the Notre Dame case and just Notre Dame getting better in the future, I'm sure there's going to be more support staff that can just prevent these kind of lawsuits happening. Okay, although Notre Dame did not lose the case, there's one of those things where it's still a bad look for the university. All right, and just growing further and further away from just negligence. Okay, so risk management is a very cool thing. It's just how you pretty much categorize things and track it down to make sure it don't happen again. All right, and that's one of the things that I feel Notre Dame can get better at. Okay, now, yeah, do the Burmans should they have attempted, the lawsuit, and to just hold Notre Dame accountable to negligence because they were invited to the event? Yeah, you would think. I mean, yeah, you can think they could attempt it, although it was a third party incident. All right, was a third party incident, so that's kind of where it kind of separates itself. In this case right here, I also saw something that stuck out to me. Just when you invite someone to an event like Notre Dame did, you know, just when it comes to liabilities and the responsibility to protect patrons, from injuries, and different things like that. It's a very thin line. You got to walk there. Just thankful that Notre Dame. This was a third party deal with Notre Dame. Thank God it wasn't any equipment that fell on the Burmans, because then it would be a different story. Okay, if it was anything Notre Dame associated, if one of their employees injured one of the Burmans, is different, all right? It's not a a third party deal. Okay. So that's kind of what kept Notre Dame clear of this case. Um, this is definitely something they want to take note of. This is definitely something that they want to prevent. This is definitely something I would take note of and make sure we would prevent. And the very next sporting event, we'll look out for things like that. We'll provide security. Provide the certain support staff to ensure that we're as far as away from negligence. Okay, so very cool case. Um, the whole deal of risk management and how 30 years ago it became a thing inside of sports and just protecting Patreons, protecting players. I think is extremely smart, and is actually is holding up in this deal in the Bearman versus the University of Notre Dame case. So really cool case. Really cool case. All right. Thank you so much for your time.